ITP 263, Task 7, Assignment 3, Child Negligence.
Good morning, Ray. I'm so glad you could come in this morning for the interview. As administrator of this school, I'm interested in your perspective on child abuse and neglect. I see in your resume here that you took a course in college on this subject. Could you share some of your views on this topic with me this morning?
I took up child abuse. I know some people who experience child abuse. I wanted to know more about child development, so I took classes. So money and poverty seem to be the problems. Sometimes the kids came in with dirty clothes, their hair was a mess, or there'd be something wrong with their shoes. I hope to see something improve soon.
Good. Well, let's talk about some of those early clues or things that we can be looking for in the classroom. As a teacher in the classroom, could you tell me just one or two signs that you would find for emotional neglect, for instance? What were some things you might be looking for as a teacher?
Myself, I would look to see if they're sad, if they're being bullied, they don't have good development. That's very important. If they're not comfortable and it's not improving,
What are some of the physical cues that you might look for? For instance, sucking their thumb, some of those kind of things. What might you be watching for?
And if they're rocking back and forth, running around, that can mean problems. For me, I would try to help that and make them comfortable. If they're crying and running around, I would just try and make them feel comfortable.
Good. I know that I've had situations in my classroom when I was teaching where I found a child was withdrawn from their peers. Oftentimes I would find them over by themselves at their desks, chewing on their fingernails. What kind of things do you think you could do then to cue me as the administrator that that's happening? What would you do if you saw those types of behavior in your classroom?
I would go up to the student and help them, try to communicate with them and discuss about what's going on. I would tell the student, "Hey, it looks like you're sad," and ask if I can help. I would hang out with them.
I've thought about this as a child growing up deaf. Did you ever feel isolated? Did you have people watching you, thinking perhaps you were neglected? It seems like that could be one of the areas that would show up in some of our children who perhaps are having a difficulty communicating with others in their environment. How do you feel about that?
It's hard comparing a deaf and hearing student. I would help communicate with the deaf student and sign between the deaf and hearing student to help better them. I would try.
Good. Well, if it's okay, I'd like to also talk about some of the areas of physical neglect. And I know that you talked about that in your class. For instance, what would be some of the physical indicators for you if a child came to school consistently poorly dressed, that kind of thing? What other indicators would you look for of physical neglect or abuse from the home?
It's hard to say. I would probably meet with the parents and ask what's wrong. Maybe the parents don't have money. Maybe the department could help them out. Maybe they could go to a counselor to help solve the problem.
What about conferencing with the parents? How do you feel you could approach that? If you saw, for instance, a child who came to school hungry, or you began to detect malnourishment, a child that didn't have energy to participate, those kind of things, how do you feel you could approach that in your classroom?
When I recognize that the student is malnutrition, their eyes are different, they're slow, they're not exercising correctly, I would probably go to the parents and ask if the kid is tired or what's kind of going on. Maybe the parents are just ignoring them. I don't know. I could help the parents. Maybe they're not feeding them on time. Maybe they need to feed them more vegetables and fruit. Tell them that it's good to have fruit and vegetables with every meal.
Well, that sounds very helpful. I know that our school does have a reduced meal program, the cost for hot meals here at the facility. Perhaps one thing you could also suggest to them is that they look into getting their child on a program at the school. There's a variety of things that I feel I can do as an administrator in this school and as a teacher to help a child have a positive school experience. And so I was just hoping today that we would have a chance to just see how well we can do in our facility to facilitate the best possible learning environment. I was also thinking about how we might talk to parents and bring them into our work with the child. Can you think of other things that you could possibly do as the teacher in regards to physical or emotional neglect from the home?
Yeah. I think that program would be good. At home, I'm not really sure. Maybe help the parents change the food, their eating habits, and make sure that they're eating correctly. Maybe if their parents are divorced, they're working a little much. Now, if maybe the other parents are not giving, or the other parents are
Mhm.
drugs and they're not feeding the kid correctly, if they're telling them to just go grab whatever. Then we just tell them to feed them
Right.
correctly so that
You know, you're right, Ray. It seems to me that a lot of the children that we find that have gone through physical or emotional neglect come from single-parent families or perhaps low-income families. But I've also found out over the years of working with children that oftentimes neglect can occur in homes where there are both parents. Perhaps they're both working. There's other kinds of neglect, and I think that we shouldn't just stereotype and think that it's just going to be the low income or those who seem to be in poverty conditions. I have detected neglect in the other types of environments also. What type of emotional neglect do you think could come about in a family situation where both parents, for instance, are working and are out of the home?
I would decide if both of the parents are working and the kid is left at home, they think that it's their responsibility, that they need to. The parents need to be home and make time for the kid to feed them. Parents need to know that they need to make time for the kids and be
Right.
home for them.
I know that I have dealt with parents in the past who are workaholics, and they assume because they are caring for the physical needs of the child that the emotional needs are also being met. And I think as teachers, we need to constantly be able to watch for neglect in the emotional arena for children who may have all the physical needs met, but emotionally are starved for affection and attention and time giving from their caretakers. Right.
Right. Also, parents who go to work and then come home and then leave right away, they need to leave, or they need to go home and care for the kid, be their friend. It's fine. They don't ignore them.
Right.
It's sad if the kid is bored, they're scared.
Well, I really appreciate, Ray, what appears to me that you have looked at the whole gamut of child abuse and neglect. And I think that it will be good if we do indeed offer you a position on our staff, that you could come to us with some good qualifications that would help us in detecting these things in the classroom. I appreciate the time that you've spent with me today. I think that's been profitable for both of us, and I do look forward to spending more time with you in the future. And what I'll be doing is I will be going through some more resumes, and I'll be getting in touch with you. I would say in the next couple of days. Will you be in the area so I can contact you?
Yes.
Good. Okay. Well, thank you, Ray. I appreciate, again, as I said, that you came in today and took the time to talk with me. Thank you.